We'll just have to.
Make this our trial running.
Yeah, I'll ask
But,
Charles.
you know,
about it
well,
tonight.
and here's where that came from, because she said I had closed captioning, and so then I'm like, well, sounds like you had it on your TV.
Oh, sure.
You know what I mean? I probably, because she goes, I couldn't keep up with how fast they were talking.
That's probably what it was.
I'm sure.
Okay.
Because we heard us to close caption us. We probably could be heard. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and call this meeting to order. I'm gonna start by taking a roll for my left.
Johnston.
Rob Delmas,
Elida Snow.
Ron Goodman.
Tony Regal.
Walter Snyder.
Tony Katzen.
Okay, at this time, we will be taking any public comment on any non-agenda items from anyone in the audience. Okay, then we will be moving on to reports. So we will start with the activities report. Tony?
So we need to make a motion. What we're gonna do with the eighth graders, the springtime, sports are starting and those coaches I know are asking those questions. And if we wait any longer, it's gonna.
So I believe it's on next week's agenda.
It is?
Yes, it's
For
on
sure. Is that
next
gonna
week's
work
agenda.
out?
I did, yeah, I chatted with him. We
Okay.
didn't get it on this week, but it is on next week, so
The
we should be.
softball coaches asked.
Yeah, softball coaches are
Okay, so next week it's.
next week. We'll know.
Yeah. So we
Yeah.
can,
So I think that was the majority of what we talked about, was allowing the eighth graders to try out for high school sports with the exception of football.
okay. Do you want to continue with buildings and grounds?
So I think at our last meeting, we basically discussed this track, the resurfacing of that, and tonight we're having interviews after our meeting, work session to go through that, so packets were handed out, so I think we'll have a big discussion tonight.
Something about that?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. BG is not here. Cody, do you want to cover policy for us?
Yeah, I had a meeting today. Just going over. What we're doing,
Job descriptions?
job descriptions, and just gonna start reviewing. Basically the policy book, but we're starting there. Because of the fact that we need to start hiring some people, so we need to define.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be a big project, but. Okay, technology. What?
We met, was it last week? We met over at the high school and just kind of went through the shops, kind of seeing the equipment we had and some of the stuff that's been donated, the CNC machines. Kind of looked at some of the projects that started doing. I think Mr. Thompson actually used them recently to make keychains for the wrestling coaches. Just kind of practicing on that. So
You got that going?
he did, yeah. So he got some keychains made. Look, I just saw him online, so that's how I saw him on like Facebook or something. But there's some really good ideas floating around out there. I won't get ahead of my skis here with them, but there's some good ideas that where we could really start using all the classes to kind of work with the technology classes and really start expanding on that. Obviously, the same as with the policy of defining the job descriptions, that's going to be important too. So I think all these things are starting to come together. So yeah, I think it's pretty exciting. There's some really good stuff coming down the line with technology.
Throw some stuff in there. One of the problems that we had is in the computer lab, Mrs. Foss's room, having problems with the wireless, and instead of having things directly connected. And so now Charles took a trip to Helena and picked up about $50,000-$60,000 of the computers, small frame, and all sorts of monitors. And so that's a big issue for us to pick up on AutoCAD and just where else we need it in the district.
Yeah, we really want to see, give the kids a chance, especially, now there's more kids going into those type of fields like electricians, plumbers, things like that. And even the mechanical work now, if you talk to Andreessen, it's a lot more computer based than it used to be, where, wrenches and, all that stuff's still there. But so just trying to keep up with the times and make sure that we're, not just teaching them how to make bread boxes still.
You can see
Which
the
are
name tags that Coach Thompson's making. They're crosscut sawed with the teachers' names on
Oh, they
them
look
above the
cool.
doors. They're really cool.
With the CNC machine?
Yeah. These
Yeah.
guys,
With the hot?
Haas is starting to make them all. No, with the wood one.
Okay, with
They're
Woodman.
made out of wood. They're pretty neat.
He's like a little kid.
Yeah,
That's what I was about to say.
it is.
Staying there until like 10 o'clock at night, just making stuff on it.
So I want to throw in on this as well. We have a lot of equipment and some of it we probably don't need, if that makes any sense. And so one of the things that the last step is we need to get a hold of Nick Rope, John and Leroy Tom to go ahead and say, what do we need? What needs to go? And just kind of thin things out, make more space. But I'm just really excited because I think there's a lot of movement on just what's going on with what's going on in the metals and on the woods side as well.
Ken and I took 3 truckloads to the dump out of the auto shop, just old crap. And it's amazing how it cleaned it up. It's so much easier to work in there. So
Where
if
they
we can
can
get
store
that
it.
done in the welding shop and wood shop, we'll be good.
Where are they gonna store the welding mass if we take all that non-used equipment away?
It's a good question. But the big question, and like you said, the question is the square footage, how much gets allotted to each event? And so, again, I want Leroy and Nick Rote, John, and some of these other people in the community to really give us, because they are invested in this as well, because they want people who can run their machines. So,
Okay. Okay, we will move on then to wellness and safety.
Class.
Okay. Calendar, we've adopted our calendar for 2 years, so we probably won't have a meeting for a while. Transportation, as far as I'm aware of, there's nothing new on transportation.
and we just got 2 new driver's education cars. Should be getting those chicken breaks in them here shortly. And so we should be going with that. Well, not that that's a transportation issue, but it is, those will be our vehicles to use for road trips and stuff like that as well. So,
How did the auction go on the vehicles? Didn't they do an auction last month or something like that?
we made a killing. How much did we make on that, Stacy? Is it $25 or 30?
On
No.
the vehicle auction.
We actually made about $5,000 on them.
How many vehicles? Was that like 6 or 7 of them?
Yeah, it was like 4 or 5.
They could drive away and the others,
Yeah.
they couldn't even drive out of here.
They were almost as old as I was.
In large,
you're
in large
lucky to
print,
get 5,000.
as is, no warranty. I had a guy come and look at him and he, no, thanks. Yeah,
Funny.
Imagine.
Okay, moving on to insurance, Miss BG.
Sorry, I'm bringing up the email. This is the latest email I received from
Oh.
insurance. It's really nothing. It's, we're working on it. It's anticipated. Get signed up. If you're not signed up, we're already signed up. So I don't know. We usually have open enrollment ready and going in March, so it's
But
frustrating.
we've gone much later than this before, so it's
Oh,
okay. It's okay.
We'll get there.
Isn't
That's
there
it.
a hard deadline on something? At those, like,
Open
there's hard-
enrollment's usually end of May, and we have all our ducks in a row and we know what it's
so
gonna
we're
be.
okay.
so it has to happen by the end of May.
So I'm training next Monday down in Lula, and that John Doran's gonna be there.
Okay,
So that's
have
where
a
you will.
conversation.
Okay, then.
I love find
Excuse
out.
me from the other meeting.
is John Dorn the guy that represents us?
No, that's Rob Turner.
Oh, Rob
He's
Turner.
awesome. He's awesome.
Obviously, the other guy isn't. Did you get that?
I got it.
Okay, sounds good. Then how about a Libby Central Charter School report, Miss Rogers?
If you run that, I'll just.
Yeah, I don't know. On your clicker.
Your clicker, all right. I'll stand over here. So we are still with 2 teachers, 1 full-time para, and then 3 part-time staff. Mrs. Barrick, who is not going to be back next year, has been doing 2 days a week. She's also doing our Running Star class for our college class. Miss Heather will be back next year. She's doing art classes for us, and then Miss Seiler is both doing individualized math, and she's our special education manager. So that's still kind of where we are, which is nice to have at least a secondary teacher. Count day, we had 46, pardon me, 45 on spring count day. So they'll average fall and spring, and that's the funding that we'll get. We've got 46 enrolled now, 26 males and 20 females. We're a little bit more boy heavy. So it's been interesting. We have a few students that are remote learning for medical reasons. We've got a couple that are unaccompanied minors living in their car in a friend's house that are having to work close to full time at McDonald's. So the high school doesn't accommodate for that, which is good. So they came over here. So we're trying to work with them, to both seniors. So it's just for that last semester, trying to get them graduated and out. So that's the reason for some of the increase. But been some interesting students, and then we have a freshman that's having some medical issues that's working from home as well. So we picked her up from the high school. So it's been nice to be able to play back and forth between the two schools. With the second semester, things are similar to the beginning. I just want to, nothing's changed in first, second, or third. It's pretty much the same. Fourth period, we do have an electronics class that has started with the automotive diagnostics pieces that we picked up from the high school. They're not using them right now, so we're using them over here. It's a beginning electronics class for the students, which has been kind of interesting because they don't know what a resistor is. They don't know, how energy flows. And we're in the beginning. You'll see pictures around. We're just talking about protons, neutrons, and electrons, and not really having that background for electricity and how it flows and what a switch is and how the thing works. So this is going to be a multi-part class, but it's been kind of interesting to have some girls in there, which is kind of nice. And then our Fridays, we have our Woods 2 class, and then our career development, which is Cookie Cuts for Life. You'll see some pictures later. So I'll talk about that. We have a creative arts, and then they did some Adventum electives. Those are the ones that the kids can choose on their own. And then the afternoon, we have a leadership class where they're coming up with our new motto, deciding activities for the students, and really trying to make the school their own. And freshmen up, they're doing a yearbook class, so we got the camera and they're taking pictures, and kind of cool. Then the industrial technology is going to be our CNC machine. We have a new laser that's coming in, and then we have a 3D printer and a Kevlar heater warmer, so we can turn Kevlar into little parts and pieces that you're going to need. And then we are doing an in-person culinary arts. So they're doing, they've made, I think Friday they made cookie on the bottom, brownie on the top, and then they made a meal too. They wanted to make meatloaf, and I thought, that's kind of odd, but they're just.
On the top and running on the bottom, isn't it?
It's got a name, but I can't. Rookie.
Yeah.
I was like, with that name, I was like, I don't even know what rookie is, but okay, great.
That's it.
They're having fun, and they're able to use the food from the pantry, so that if they have some insecurities at home, they can just pull food from the pantry, take it home, and cook it over the weekend. So that's been a nice class to add to it. So our data is you can see some growth. They actually put a little effort in the second time. We're still not any place where we need to be. The chart on the bottom show it's a downward progression, but it's supposed to be a downward progression because we're reducing the number of students that are in the orange and the yellow. So you should see a downward trend. So that's the goal for the school. But the fall to winter, I mean, you can see some growth in the green and the blue if you're looking at math. So we did have a reduction in the tier 3s and 4s. Reading was interesting because they read the first semester, the first time they took it, but when it came to taking it in winter, they didn't want to read as much. So that kind of changed, but the language arts was better. So we're still seeing a change in them. As soon as they took the test, when we took it, we made it a very serious testing center. We took away all other choices for them. They had to sit in specific seats. We put out the testing signs. We did the quiets, the snacks in the box to practice for ACT. And we did get some students. It's been nice for them to see. It's like, hey, what did I get? How was my test? I would have looked. And so, you know, it's little bits and pieces. We've earned 85 credits in semester one, 119 exact past skills mastered with 170 hours. This last 2, 3 weeks, I left them with their classes that they didn't finish and earn credits for first semester. And lo and behold, they're starting to finish them. So we should make our goal. But it's just to watch them become a student and watch them become what I consider a successful student. It may take them a couple of years for them to be what the, in high school, going back to the traditional high school successful student. But they're here, they're coming, we're making improvements. So good to see. We do have 2 students in the welding class with Mr. Curtis after school, and they're going to get running start credits for it. So one of the students came and showed me as well. Very proud of them from last week. He goes, "Yeah, it's just 2 of us from the high school and a bunch of old people." And I went, "Great."
People in their thirties, huh?
Yes, yeah. But he was so proud of his welds to bring them in and show them to me. He goes, "I think I may be good at this." And I'm like, "We'll get to it. We'll get to it." And then we do have 2 students taking the college writing with Mrs. Barrett. So those are getting credit start credits as well. This is a bridge project, just to give you, I'm just going to show you some of the projects that they're doing. And this is what we also used in our accreditation report that we did last week. After we had all the bridges go out this winter, the students did a whole project centering around bridges in English. So they started with the poster, then they had to build the bridge, then they had to do a written piece. They had to test the bridge and the strength of the bridges. But it was just relevant and current to them. So it was a multifaceted project. So, and they got to learn some vocabulary about bridges and start thinking about things that are happening in our community. Social studies, they're not doing an Edmentum class. Miss Jordan's actually teaching the class, and she's a very student-centered teacher. So they're kind of teaching themselves. They've done a Socratic seminar, and they couldn't do it with their friends. They had to do it with somebody they didn't know. And it was that those first few minutes were a little tense. But then they kind of put it out there, and they're doing some simulations, which they're not used to doing. I mean, it's a whole new world up there for them. So it's kind of nice to hear the vocabulary, and they're actually retaining information, which is nice. Fish, Wildlife, and Parks, 2 biologists came out, Toby and Sam Martinez, and they just talked about skull identification, brought a bunch of skulls, talked to the kids about it. And then animal adaptations and the ways that they've changed over time and things and looking at it. So that was just a nice piece for them, just to come in and be able to see animals that they might, skulls that they might not, because not a lot of these students are out hunting. And they're definitely not out foraging for skulls and sheds. So this was a good use for that. The far left side is just what our objectives kind of look like. They give more of what they're doing. And then this is Miss Jordan again. She does cognitive skills. What cognitive skills are they learning? And she calls them cog skills. So they're starting to think about it. How are they learning? And then she's added a courage tracker. So are you going to take academic risk? And do you have social integrity? Are you standing up for each other? Are you putting down hurtful speech? Are you respecting everybody's publicly and privately? So it's not just class skills, it's life skills. These are focused on daily. It's kind of nice. That's cool. Ms. Barrett brought in her nephew, Peter Jacobson, from the Forest Service. They're doing a whole career piece in the English class. So they did resumes. They started with Ms. Zeiler in math, and now Ms. Barrick has taken over the resumes and the things that they've done in math and putting the English side on it. So he came to talk to them about being Forest Service firefighters for summer and how to apply things that they look for, because he interviews them. And then David Navalny also came in and talked with them and about how to get jobs. So it's hopefully they're thinking about a little forward. And they're gonna have some skills to be able to lead us with and some products. Just a few art pictures. You know, I hesitated to put the gun in there, but this is what the gentleman's asking for, and he's paying them to actually to produce it. So it's kind of neat. So I took it out for the Board of Education, but I didn't put it for the. A couple of more things from a rhetorical analysis poster for Mrs. Barrett's English class. That was high school, juniors and seniors. And then they had to build an argumentative essay through Google Slides, and it was, which candy do you think is the best? I mean, it's a silly topic, but they had to put all their reasons for why, and they had to develop their argumentative essay. That has some students that actually decided, and they chose their best candy, and convinced everybody else. So it's kind of nice. Just basic biography research. You know, they're not successful researchers, so we're going to start with a project. And it was interesting that they were able to come up with some things. It looks an elementary project, but you know what? They're proud of them, so they're hanging up on the wall, and we're making steps. And then the cabinet on the bottom of the CNC machine was designed and built by our kids. With our materials, they had to figure out dimensions. They have a hinge down on the bottom so that they could open it up and pull the top back out of the top of it. They even got creative with vibration, put a vibration plate underneath it with some materials that they found, thinking about it so that it doesn't vibrate on the floor.
Is that what red book my head?
No, that's across the hall from you. But it's been kind of neat to watch them grow and building things and be proud of things that they've done in the world. As soon as we get our electricity put over there, then we've got 2 more machines to add in. So that they can start doing that. And this is the electronics class that we talked about. So it's just basics, electronics, electrons, protons, and neutrons, and talking about how energy flows, and just understanding of it. You know, it didn't stick to them. They all had it in 9th grade physical science. It didn't stick with 8th grade. So now they're starting to see the practical side, and then when they bring out the machines, it can actually watch the electricity go through and when the resistor comes in. Dean's having a good time with that class, and Mr. Love came and helped him go through the manuals, and then we can start using them. So this should take this year, probably more of next year, to be able to complete it. But the hope is that they understand how to use a diagnostics meter when they finish, at whatever time that is, by putting it into a car, being able to read it. And then this semester, we formalized more our Kootenai Pets for Life relationship. So we have about 8 students that go every Friday morning, and they work the first half of the day. They all have an individual project, they all have a group project, and they all have chores that they need to do for the shelter. So some of them are doing a media blitz to get more information out about Kootenai Pets for Life. One's doing a bake sale to raise funds for them. They've gotten to see a picture on the upper left. They're actually getting a cat an IV, some IV fluid. So they're actually getting to see these happen and working with them. And they're just different people there. A student that's not successful, doesn't like to come to school, is happy as a lark. Yeah. I think that's why he's coming to school, is because if he's not in school, he doesn't get to go on Fridays. So some buses.
How did they get there?
Some drive their own, and some just sort of get the van.
That's
Or I drive over. These are all, I mean, mostly the younger kids are the ones that usually ride with me. The van from here. Reading and annotating notes, processing information, and preparing for a discussion. Read, write, discuss is the big thing for us. They're not used to that. So this is just some social studies documents to show how they're processing, learning to annotate, learning to read for meaning. And then to be able to do the Socratic seminars, when they did the philosophers, they had to actually take on the persona of what philosopher they had and have a conversation with others. A little tension in the beginning, but they really kind of, I mean, it came around. And the first question was like, so when were you born?
Yeah.
And then it got into, well, I don't think I believe the same way you do. And it's like, wait a minute, see, it was good to see that little twist.
You see on that middle cake. Pizza is good. Yeah.
And this is just from the creative arts class. They've done some leatherworking, some wallets and some journals and belts. So they have creative arts in the morning and then a visual arts for drawing and painting in the afternoon. And then we did have the National Guard came and spoke to Wayne Carlisle. Came and spoke to our juniors and sophomores about opportunities for the Guard. He's been around, and we have one student that may be going into it, but it could be a path out for some of our kids. So we'll see how it goes. That's it. And then we will give you the 2 financial reports. We forgot to get those out yesterday. So we'll just put those in your box for you so that you have them. There was financial report for quarter number 1, and then this second quarter number 2. And then we do have the State Board of Education is coming March 23rd to visit us, and I think 1 or 2 of you may be there for that. And they be from all that, so that'll just be our in-person visit. And if you have any other questions, let us know. We're ready.
Ruth, I want to compliment you and everybody else up there. Today, when I came for the first meeting today at 11:30, I was greeted at the door by one who held the door open for me. Can I help you? I said, yes. Would you take this cane? I'll be glad to. I got up to the top of the ramp. There was a young lady and a gentleman zooming around. They immediately stopped. Can we help you? I thought, I didn't think I looked that bad, but anyway, I mean, they were so polite, so cheerful, so helpful. I'm just so proud of them.
And they do a lot of community service too.
Yeah, it's fun to see them get excited about learning again.
Yes, it is.
Yes.
That spark is, it's worth everything.
And something I like to see in a lot of those photos, it looks like there's a lot of group work, group discussions, things like
Yes.
that. I was in Mr. Winslow's class this week, and it was one of the discussions we had. When you get in the real world, yeah, you might have some cubicle work or whatever, but for the most part, you're working with other people. It's an important part. I mean, no one just does it on their own. So to be able to start that at an earlier age where you're not just seeing or hearing the theory, but you're actually putting it to work. And you always do that in groups, from like what Cody does and everything. Everyone pretty much works in groups of people. So starting them early, getting used to that, how to to work together, to listen to other people's ideas and to bring them into your own and actually get whatever the project is done is important. And it starts at this age.
I also would like to compliment you specifically from a mother. This came to me through the mother that worked with you, and you had to give her some bad information about her son. And you have worked through, she thinks you walk on water, and I agreed. So I want you to know that it has really made an impression. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you for that. Then we will move on to resignation, retirement, reduction of force, and non-renewal. Looks like we have 2 of them.
I move that we accept the resignation of Steve Filney and Zach Sherbo for part-time LHS halftime time assistant baseball coach and LES paraprofessional, which would start immediately. Started.
I have a motion by BG and a second by Ellen to approve the resignation of Steve Pilney as LES paraprofessional starting on February 20th and Zach Sherbo as Libby High School halftime assistant baseball coach. Any questions or comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passed. Okay, consideration of staff contracts and / transfers.
I move we offer contract to Joe Flores for middle high school assistant baseball coach. He was part-time and now will be full-time, correct? I believe. Shannon Strowski, Science Olympiad coach, and Renee Zelliger, increased contract to full-time status.
Second, please.
I'll second.
I have a motion by BG and a second by Walt to approve the staff contracts of Joe Flores as high school assistant baseball coach, Shannon Ostrowski as science Olympiad coach, and Rosina Zeiler increased to full-time.
Was she point
FTE.
eight? What it was?
She was appointed, can that be retroactive to February?
It started on the 1st of February.
Yes, starting on the 1st of February. That is how it's.
That was my mistake.
Okay, any questions or comments about any of those? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passed. Okay, consideration of Montana Youth Challenge Academy Memorandum of Understanding.
I did not understand. Did not understand the memorandum of understanding.
I didn't make, I just always over the years have just sent kids needed it. But yeah, it didn't make any sense to me either.
So what is it? Can we clarify
Well,
that?
the youth challenge is, you can, when kids get in trouble, either behaviorally or even academically, I think more behaviorally than anything else. And so they go to Dillon and they have a program that they go through. And so we can send kids.
It's a voluntary, the parents have to agree and the students have to agree to go. So that they do high set, so that they can finish early. It can be a half year to a year program, depending on what they're doing. Is that okay if I?
Oh, yeah, no, it's,
But it gives them, that they have a large portion of community service as well, because they go out and work. They keep them busy from 7 a.m. till 8 o'clock at night. They make some personal challenges, whether it's to get off of nicotine, or whatever they're doing, or maybe changing some food choices. It just gives them a different perspective on life and keeps them busy, so that they're making better choices. They can finish with the high set and be done. With this memo, it should be the memo that we are able to still claim A and B for them.
insane.
So that, and that they could, depending on how many credits they could get a living high school diploma, depending on their age of when they go. That's usually the two pieces.
And how do they get recommended to the program or?
Is a school that we have a representative that comes regularly and meets with kids. So anytime we counsel a student that they say they want to drop out or they don't want to come to school, we always give that as one of the options with Job Corps. So we try to counsel them to give them something else, another option, and then the person that the representative comes down and meets with them, meets with the parents as well.
How many kids have we sent in the last few years? No, not
That's you right now, right?
There now, yeah.
You there, Mark? Yeah. I
It's a
don't
really
know.
cool program.
Yeah, it's So is it- really, no, it's very based and very structured. Is it like a ranch setting?
Montana Western campus.
Oh, it is?
There's a lot of kids that actually end up going to college there once they get out of it. It's really cool system.
To go into a graduation with it once a kid. Very, very focused on thought processes and behaviors and what are you gonna do differently? Yeah, I think it gets them out of their environment that wasn't working so well for them, and it's very structured. So,
Very structured.
So why did you just need a motion
To approve it, yes.
I'll make the motion that we approve the memorandum. I'll second.
I have a motion by Tony and a second by Walt to approve the Montana Youth Challenge Academy Memorandum of Understanding. Any other questions or comments?
Just a second. Okay, let's see if, I was looking at a date and it was July 1st, 2009, but that's effective, so fine.
Okay. Any other questions or comments? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passed. Okay, consideration of the review of the agenda for Monday. Looks like our April meetings to be set. Consideration of minutes from February. Reports. We've got some resignations. Staff contracts. I do not see where did talk to her about it this morning, so I assume this has not been put on there, but the 8th grade,
It's on.
oh, it is right there. Never mind, hadn't gotten there. Okay, perfect. MTSB membership will be chatted about. Election. What's the MSGIA membership?
Oh, I'm sure it's something you have to read.
No, it is not. Okay, I have to put-
And it's 2 pages long.
Okay, is there any questions or comments? Or additions or subtractions or thoughts?
Will we have anything from today on there?
Oh, yeah, well, we'll have to officially hire the track.
Yeah, we have to do
Resurface.
that here,
We're gonna do it in the meeting.
work session.
We can't make motions in work sessions.
She put it as a special
She
meeting.
put it as a special meeting?
She did
Okay,
At 5:30.
Yes,
okay, then I guess we can.
Tonight.
Okay. So
that
will
was
be
the one I
completed
was told I
tonight.
had to be here.
Oh, yep. So it's a special meeting at 5:30.
Okay.
Surprise.
Anything, oh yeah, it says the work session is just the election and schedule committee meetings. Okay, anything else for the agenda for next week? No? Okay, motion to adjourn, please.
I so move.
I'll say.
I have a motion by BG, excited in the motion. And a second by Walt to approve the adjournment of the meeting. All those in favor?
I
All those opposed? Motion passed. Okay, following that, now we can open our special work session